Hi, madam. My name is Nur Afiqah binti Ibrahim, and today I'll be going to present an oral presentation of my assessment test kit and a reflection from my test kit too. So, let's get started. So, in my presentation, the contents are: the first one is introduction. The second one is test content. The third one is rubric. The fourth one is item justification. And the fifth one is reflection. And the sixth one is the strength and weaknesses. And lastly is improvement. Alright, for introduction, basically I'll be going to explain a little bit of the assessment, grading, and test items. So, assessment here means a series of measures used to determine a complex attribute of an individual or group of individuals. Basically, it is where we as a teacher want to test our students' knowledge, and also for this upcoming presentation, I will be going to explain about one of the types of assessment, which is summative assessment. And then the next one is grading. Okay, the next one here is grading, which it is about a method of evaluating a student's performance. It can be form of percentage, marks, letter grades, and more. Okay, like for example, for my part, I have what I have done with my students. I give them marks where they can know what is their grades, and for example, like I explained to them if they got 70%, that means the grade that they have got is what, which is B, right? Something like that. Okay, and the last but not least is test items. Okay, test items here means types of the questions in the assessment, such as multiple choice questions, fill in the blanks, matching questions, and others. This one is the types of the questions that I have been using in the assessment, in the summative assessment. So basically, the examples that I have given here actually is actually the examples of the test items that I have applied in my assessments. Okay, next we move on to the test content, which is the content of my summative assessment. So, the summative assessment consists of 40 questions, which includes from section A until section D. And then it also covers all 4 skills, which are reading, writing, listening, and speaking. And then the topic that I have covered for these summative assessments are all topics that the year 1 students need to learn, which are from topic 1 until topic 4, based on Supermind textbooks. Okay, just a brief info about the textbook. Okay, the textbook actually Supermind textbooks, where the textbook can be used for year 1 student and year 2 students. But in the textbooks there are, I think, 9 topics, but for the year 1 student they will be covered from topic 1 until topic 4. So I have been using I took a few questions or subtopics from those 4 topics to put into the summative assessment. Okay, the marks allocation for this test is 40 marks. And I did this test, the summative assessments, in my class. Okay, one more thing. Okay, the marks allocation is 40 marks, right? Same goes with the questions, which is if the students get one one correct question, so the marks that the students got is 1 mark. So I need to, what can I say, I need to calculate it by, okay, the total number of the marks that the students have got, and then I need to divide it into 40, and then I will times 100, then they will get the final mark of the final mark for the students. Okay, now we move on to the rubric of the assessment. Okay, basically, just because I use multiple choice questions and fill in the blank type of questions, type of test items, so the rubric that I have prepared just only for listening and speaking part. Because for the MCQ part and the for fill in the blanks parts, the questions are easy, where it should be not a problem for the other teachers to use my questions, and it doesn't it should not be a problem to if they want to mark it. So I just prepared for listening, which is uh, the transcript for the teachers to use during the test, during conducting the test, and the answer script for speaking part. So here is the listening part, which is the instruction is the student need to listen and tick the correct box. Okay, which means the teacher that conducted the test, which is for example like me, during I conducted the test, I I see all these words. I mean, I gave the instructions to my students, and then they need to choose the answers. Okay, so here is the questions that I have prepared for them. Okay, we can see that the instruction is this section consists of 5 questions, 5 marks, question 31 until 35, where the student need to listen and then take the correct answer. For example, for number 31, I just need to say to my students, okay, number 31, parallelogram. Like that, and then I will repeat for 2 times for each question, so that the student can tick the correct answer, and then the second part they will check whether the answers that they have ticked, whether it is correct or not. What I mean is based on their understanding. Okay, so that's it for section C. Alright, another part of my rubric is, like I said just now, is for the speaking part, right? So for the speaking part, this is the instruction that I have given to my students. The instruction is, look at the picture given and then say the correct answer, which means I told my students to look at the picture given, and then I asked the questions to my students. Then they need to choose, they need to answer either yes we have or no we haven't. That's it. But before they answer the question, they still need to analyze the picture given. So let's take a look to the question that I have prepared. Okay, so this one also I put as, okay, what I stated here is section D, in a bracket speaking. This section consists of 5 questions, 5 marks, and the questions are from number 36 until 40. So, like I said, the instruction where the students need to look at the pictures given, and then they say the correct answer. So here the students need to look at the picture first. What are the foods that is visible, that are, I mean, in this picture? And then they have to answer whether yes we have or no we haven't. So for example, I have put it here, have we got any cheese? And the answer is yes we have, because there is cheese in this picture. So same goes with the other questions where I need to ask. I ask my students, for example, like, have we got any apples? Then the students need to look at the picture, and then they need to answer it by themselves. Okay. Alright, so now we move on to the items justification, where I want to justify why I choose this type of test items. So the first one, I choose multiple choice questions. For this part, it covered 20 questions in the paper, where it also covered for 20 marks. So why I choose this type of items? Because it is easy to find the answers. Why? Because there are also a few choices of the answers where the students actually can choose. And one more thing, each questions I also have prepared a picture for the reference, which means if the students actually can really understand what is the question is, the students can refer to the picture given. And then maybe they can relate from the picture that they have seen with the what can I say, with the choices of the answers. Okay, so actually this type of test items is actually wants to help, especially for the lower level type, for the lower level of students. That's why I stated here it is a lower level type of questions. Okay, and then in the continuation for the second part, which is fill in the blanks, I stated here. And for the fill in the blanks questions, I covered for section B, and that one I also covered for 10 marks. So this part is actually for the both things, both skills that need to be used, which are reading and writing, because the students need to write the answers by fill in the blanks. So I put it here, it is for to assess the students' comprehension and understanding and to choose the suitable answer, because in this part, in this section B, I put three comprehension questions where there is a very short paragraph describes a bag, if I'm not mistaken, and then there are also three WH questions where the students need to see what's the suitable answer um, what is the suitable answer with the question given, but the student doesn't need to answer in a full sentence. They just need to fill in the blank with the correct word. They just only need to fill one word only for each question, because I've already prepared another sentence in front of it, right? Okay. Alright, last but not least, for the items justification, I use listen and take. This one is for the section C, where it is for the listening questions, where I have shown before there are pictures. For example, like for one question, there are three pictures, and then the student need to listen for the teachers, and then they need to choose the correct picture. So this one is really for really to see their listening skill, whether can they listen to what the teachers have said or not, because the teachers just use a simple word so that to see whether the students can listen or not, because sometimes the students can't really comprehend or listen what they have listened to the teachers. Yes, I want to see whether they can achieve that or not. Okay, now after justification of the test items, now I will go deeper into reflection, where I need to reflect whether those questions or those types of test items actually works for the students or not. So the first one, section A. Okay, what can I saw? What can I see? After I've marked the papers. Okay, I can reflect that in section A, which is the multiple choice questions, MCQ questions that consist 20 questions. And for me, that question is quite easy. It is the lower level of the type questions. I can see that number 3, many students got wrong answers. Here is about where the students need to find the same beginning of word. For example, like in one answer there are 3 words, and then they have to find the initial letter of each word with that sound same. So I use word beginning or initial, so maybe they don't understand or they don't remember what is the meaning of that word, so they cannot identify which is the suitable answer from it. Because when I check the answers with them, I asked why you cannot answer this one. They said they don't know what this word and what the question actually wants. And then next, the second point, for number 20, the students got wrong answers too. Many of them got wrong answers because they cannot remember the sequence of the numbers from 11 until 20. Actually, they already learn about numbers from 1 until 20, but they learn it separately, where from number 1 until 10 they learn from the topic 1, but for number 11 until 20 they learn from the latest topic, which is topic 4, lunchtime, if I'm not mistaken. But still, the numbers, maybe it's quite confusing for them, because if we say 1 1, but for 11 we say 11, so the difference of the words actually can confuse them and they also need to remember it, right? So when I ask them why you cannot answer it, because they cannot remember the exact sequence, and they also cannot count 1 until 20. They will miss a few numbers, so that's why. And then next, overall, all in all, many students can answer this section correctly. What I meant here is, even though there are a few questions that the student have gotten wrong, but still, most of them most of them got many correct answers instead of the incorrect one. So now for the section B, okay, like I said just now, for the section B is actually to assess whether they can read, understand, and write the answers right, because this section consists of fill in the blank types of test item, right? So the first part, like I said, it is for reading comprehension, where the student need to read a short paragraph, and then the students need to answer the question, and the questions given are only three questions. And I stated here, students cannot differentiate the WH questions, which are about who and what. Yes, when I said why you cannot answer this is just a simple question about what and who. And then the answer's already there. You just need to find a suitable word that is, literally same with the, with literally same in the short paragraph given, and then transfer it. It is like a information transfer. But still, just because they don't understand what is the meaning of who, or they don't know what is the meaning of who and what, they cannot differentiate that. So they got wrong answers. Okay, and then next, for the question number 24 until 30, which is the students need to fill in the blanks with the correct answers. Okay, that one, the students need to fill in the blanks, but there are pictures given. What I meant here is each question also has its own picture where the students can refer to it, and then they can choose. The answers also there. I've prepared the answers so that the students can choose and then transfer it in the blanks. But still, some of them still got wrong answers, because I can see that Some of them also were confused about prepositions, because in that part I included the preposition questions. For example, like they need to learn in, on, under, but they still got confused between in and on. Sometimes they thought in is on is in, so that's why they got wrong answers. Even I have put the pictures, obviously. Okay, last but not least, many of my students also got wrong in one of the questions, which they don't remember the word locks. Actually, they have learned this from the last topic or the third topic, if I'm not mistaken, under the pet show topic, but they don't remember it. So many of them got wrong. So that's the reason. Because when I discuss with them, they don't know. Even they saw the pictures, they still cannot figure out what are the things. Ah. Okay, now we move on to the section C, which is for the listening section. Okay, this part actually it should not be a problem for the advanced learners, because like I said just now, the um when I say the instruction is quite simple, where the student just need to choose the correct answer, right, based on the teachers. Based on the teachers' instruction, right? Where, they just need to take the correct one. But still, if the students cannot remember the words that has been the words that has been uttered by the teachers, if the students cannot remember exactly what it is, then they cannot answer it. Because the thing is, they need to know how the word sounds, and then which one is the correct pair. Like example, I use parallelogram, so they need to know parallelogram is what, shape, animal, food. They need to know that based on the and based on the pictures I have put in a one question. So I put here some of the intermediate learners cannot answer correctly, and lower level students mostly got many wrong answers, because this part is listening, right? Like I said, also for the listening part, not all students can really listen and comprehend very well what the teacher has said. Uh, okay, so for this part, I also did not expect too much, because I expect that not many students can get correct answers. Okay, last but not least is for the section D, where it is about a speaking part. I've stated before that the students need to answer yes, we have, no, or no, we haven't. Actually, this one is also a simple speaking test. It is just for the students to identify whether the food is there or not. And then they also need to identify, they also need to know the names of the food to answer the questions. For example, I have put before the examples stated that, is there any cheese? Something like that. No. The question is about, do we have a cheese or something like that, and the student need to answer, yes, we have, because there is a cheese in the picture given. But if there's no cheese, the students need to answer, no, we haven't. So actually, this one is based on the students' memory, whether they remember or not, and whether they know how to apply the yes or no answers. This one is for the comprehension part also, but in a way they need to speak, they need to tell me what is the correct answer. All right, now let's move on to the strengths of the test items that I have prepared. Okay, I stated here that it consists of all skills Yes, I integrate all skills which are from reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Where I say what I said just now, what I have explained before, that I want to assess all these skills to my students, because I also need to test their skills because of the school-based assessment too. So this assessment actually quite I mean, this assessment actually can help me to assess their skills, and it also can help when I want to assess for their school-based assessment. Actually, I need to assess from other parts also, but actually, this assessment is such a big help for me. Okay, and then next, the questions are not too many because it only 40 questions, and for me that one is bearable for the year 1 students, and the questions also are quite simple, where it is not that hard for the students. I mean, even though the intermediate level and the lower level students did not score that much, but still they still can answer the questions. And last but not least, my questions follow the Bloom taxonomy level, where I apply from the lower order thinking skill until the high order thinking skill, but I did not apply the creating part, where there is no creating in the question, where the student did not have to create any sentence or what. They just need to apply what they understand from it. All right, a little bit. I mean, towards the end. Now I will be talking about the weaknesses of my summative assessment. So here they are. I stated here the assessment is difficult to count the marks. Yes, because I only use 40 marks. I allocated 40 marks for the assessments where I need to count. So actually it is quite hard, and it is quite, I mean, like the teachers need to do extra works to count the marks, but it's okay. And then it is too easy for the advanced learners. Yes, I can see that. For the advanced learner, this type of summative assessment is too easy for them because, like I said before, I didn't apply the creating part of the Bloom's taxonomy. So there's no creating in the question. The student doesn't need to create sentence, write sentence or what. So for the advanced learner, they can get a high marks for this test because this type of assessment is too easy for them. And then, but however, it is too difficult for the lower learners, because for the lower learners, most of them they cannot really read. I mean, they don't know how to read. They don't really what can I say? They don't they cannot identify the word, they cannot identify the phonics, so it is so difficult for them. So even though there are multiple choice of question, still if they don't know how to read, they cannot answer the questions. So that's all for the weaknesses. All right, last but not least, the last part of this presentation is about improvements, the things that I need to improve for the future. Alright, the one of the points is more variation for the type of the test items. Yes, I need to put various type of the test items instead of one or three types. For example, maybe I can include matching questions, or maybe I can include the rearrange questions where the students can try to rearrange into the correct sentence, but don't put too much words, maybe 3 to 4 words, then they can try to rearrange that. And then the marks allocated should be 50 marks, because this one, it can be, I mean, it is easier for the teachers to calculate the marks for the students. And then the level, I need to level up the difficulty of the question. Yes, like I said just now, it should not be too easy for the advanced learner. So I mean, I need to level it up, and then maybe I need to use more high order thinking skills type of questions, which are the creating part. All right, so that's all from me. Thank you. All right, thank you. That's all from me.